Eastern Illinois head coach Adam Cushing, the Panthers coming off a loss to nationally ranked Jacksonville State. They'll end the spring season by hosting Austin Peay, who's now 25 in the stats poll this week on Sunday. So, Coach, just thoughts on your team. We'll go to some questions.
Yeah, obviously not the result we wanted. I'm growing tired of saying that, to be very honest. But there's some great things that happened out there on that field. We battled really hard. We had a one-score game in the fourth quarter. We had the ball with an opportunity in the red zone, tight zone there in the fourth quarter to get it back to a one-score game. And we just got a young team that just is still learning how to finish. And I think that's what our emphasis is at this point, is just got to understand how difficult it is, especially when you play a team like Jacksonville State. Obviously incredibly talented, incredibly well coached, did a lot of really, really good things against us on the field last Saturday. And when you don't make the plays, they do, then you're not going to have a chance to win. And then you got to give them all the credit in the world. They made a ton of plays to win the football game, and we didn't make enough. As we were going back and forth, we made a bunch of big plays on both sides of the ball, but they just kind of outlasted us in big plays. And so we've got to just get back to our basics. And, the plan this week is, if we want to do better, we just got to get better. And so as we get back out on the practice field, an opportunity, a little bit more time from with an 8-day week to get their bodies right, get their minds right, and then get back on the practice field and get after it. And, we talked a lot about, man, it's after all that we've gone through with COVID and everything else, and that's happened in this school year. It's, with only one opportunity left to play football, we got to take full advantage, because, I think one of our players said it really, really well. Last year at this time, we were just begging for this opportunity. So let's just be begging for this opportunity again to come out and get better and have a great week to get ready for another really good football team that we're playing here at home on Sunday.
Before we talk about Austin Peay, just, your schedule was sort of back loaded with teams. And so, you played nationally ranked Murray, then you played nationally ranked Jacksonville State. They're playing for the OVC title this weekend. And then you play another nationally ranked team in Austin Peay. I guess, what does that, first of all, you say about the OVC? There's 3 teams ranked right now, but just, you've learned a lot about your team by playing the best at the very end.
Yeah, well, first, as you said, right, this is an incredibly competitive league. I think when it's kind of, you look at the scoreboard every Sunday and you go, man, there it is, right? Anybody can beat anybody, number one. And then number two, our best are some of the best in the country also, right? And that's just what's so fun about competing in this league, is how good the competition is from top to bottom. We've talked about it. We've been in every football game. Anytime you're in a football game, in a one-score game, doesn't matter up, down, doesn't matter, if you're in that one-score game in the fourth quarter, even a 2-score game, it's a heck of a football game. We've been in a 1-score game in the fourth quarter for the last 4 weeks against really, really good football teams. And so it's really fun to see, really fun to be competing in. And, obviously it's going to be a little bit more fun when we come out with the tally in the right WL column. But it's an incredible league with really good coaching and really talented players.
In this past weekend's postgame, you talked about Sunday's game being about your seniors. You had your roster and depth chart. You've had a lot of underclassmen featured. How do you see those blending together to come game time on Sunday?
Yeah, you said it. I mean, we're only playing a couple of seniors on either side of the ball. So, but at the same point, there's some guys that have poured a ton into this program, and we've got to go honor them with the way that we prepare and the way that we play this Sunday. And we've got a bunch of young guys that have kind of learned the ropes from those guys, because as few as they are, there really have been great examples about how we want to go about our business. And you got some guys who are playing their last football game ever, potentially, right? And then definitely the last one here in O'Brien. And so anytime we got a chance to take care of each other, right? That's one of those great parts about this game, is you never forget the last time that you walk off the football field, or especially your college football field. And then just the team bond that is created around this game, right? And tough times create tough teams. And we're hoping at some point that the times aren't quite as tough, but we're certainly building the toughness along the way. And these seniors that are getting their last opportunity to play college football here this weekend are certainly a big part of what has formed our core of toughness.
Where have you seen the most growth from your young team this spring?
just an understanding of how to stay locked in the moment, and just truly be. And we talk about what's important now, just laser focus in the moment. And I think as we've gone on the whole season long, that has improved. That truly Division I football games, all football games, but especially Division I football games where everyone's so well coached, everyone's so talented, come down to just a handful of plays. And then, when those plays go the other way, and you just never know when they are, right? And so when those plays go the other way, that's where the margin was so big early in the year. And I think as we've narrowed that margin, it's because our guys have just truly understood that you have to play every single play as hard as you can for as long as you can, and that we have enough depth, young depth. They're young, but we have enough depth then to, if you play really, really hard, you got to come out and sit on the sideline for one or two because you gave everything you had. That's okay. And so some increased depth as the year's gone along, more guys playing and more guys able to focus in the moment.
We obviously don't know what the summer will be like in the beginning of next season, but a couple of their coaches earlier talked about your freshmen are getting the game experience that they may not have gotten otherwise, and maybe spring practice would have been different for them. Obviously, that seems like it's going to benefit your team come next season at some point. Do you agree with that?
I agree 100%. When you look at how many freshmen we're starting everywhere, right? We got so many freshmen starting on defense. We got a bunch of freshmen playing major roles for us on offense as the year's gone along. So you said it exactly right. Spring football practice, as great as it is, and as important as it is as a teaching time for these young men, there is no substitute for game experience, for understanding, because as many times as you try and simulate one of those situations, there's always a situation that you just can't cover in spring practice because a game doesn't create it, or it doesn't get created without a game. And I think so that's where we're really going to learn a ton is that ebb and flow of a football game, that the other team is going to make plays. We got to be prepared to respond to it. It's very different than practice when you're scrimmaging, you just put the ball back down and there's less consequences. So we're going to benefit in a major way. We got a ton of freshmen starting, got a ton of sophomores starting. Again, only a couple of seniors playing, and everybody else is freshmen and sophomores. So it's going to be an important building block for this fall.
Your answer at the beginning was great. We talked about the opportunity. I've asked every coach this, so I just want to expound on that. Is there, we've played the games, and assuming we play these games on Sunday, we'll have played the full schedule. Not everybody's done that. Is there a takeaway or two you have on just getting that opportunity and it happening when maybe in the fall or in the last summer we had no idea if this was going to happen?
Yeah. Boy, if you'd have told me we were going to get them all in last fall at this point, I would have maybe thought you were crazy. But we learned, I think what's really critical from our players, from our administration, from our football operations, everybody just learned so much from watching, obviously, the teams that did play in the fall and how to do it right, and how to make sure that you kept your bubble as safe as possible. And then I just have to give all the credit to the players. They made incredible sacrifices to earn these opportunities. And, they part of the college experience is the social life, and they had to give some of that up in order to get to play the game that they love. And we talk about get to versus have to. That's a big part of our program. And these guys have just done so much. They've gotten to sacrifice so much to get what they want, which is those opportunities on the weekends. And what you want, you sacrifice for what you want, or what you want will be the sacrifice. And I can't tip my hat, I can't clap my hands enough for the players at our program, but all around the league that have done the right things to allow us to have an entire season here in this conference.
So when that sacrifice they made, when they look back on it, maybe it's not right away because they won't really get it in 2 or 3 years, knowing what they did was made it just that much more sweet for them in their sophomore year, their junior year, because of what they overcame.
I think we're all going to do that, aren't we? I mean, whether we're talking about these young men on our football team, my 10-year-old, his 7-year-old or 5-year-old, or whatever it is that, that you're gone through so much in this calendar year that I think when we do have the chance to actually reflect back on it, we're going to realize what it really built into us, and our ability to adjust and respond to so many different situations is just better than it used to be. I don't care, who you are. We're just better at it now, and our ability to adapt and do things the way we've had to do them with, using different meeting rooms to make sure that we could socially distance, using Zoom so much more than we used to. All these different ways that our players are going to look at it, and we talk about a growth mindset all the time. They're going to look back at it and go, man, look at how much I grew and learned in that short period of time. I can do that at any point, right? And that's what I'm really hoping we carry forward from this, is that the way that we approach this with just constantly being adaptable and flexible, why does that have to be different? When/if, and knock on as much wood as I can here, that we move forward out of the pandemic space and maybe into a quote unquote sense of normalcy. Why do we have to be different? Why do we have to adapt or adjust less? That's one of the things that has been a really positive unintended consequence of all of this.
I think that's a great way to end it, Coach. Appreciate your time all season long, and best of luck to your team on Sunday.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Great job with this all season long. Honestly, it's been phenomenal. So have a great one. Go Panthers.